Steak and Sauce, episode 9. I would say that we're back, but we never went anywhere, all right? That's how I feel. I am your host, one half of the dynamic duo of Steak and Sauce. My name's Derek, my co-host.
Antonio Claiborne.
Yes, sir. We have a special guest that doesn't need an introduction today, all right? He's worldly known, all right? Mr. Nick Rush. Let's give a...
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
No problem.
And just so you know, because you got a Wikipedia page, don't make you worldly, man. A lot of times you make those up yourself.
You can. Google feels a little bit differently about you, though. You know, I don't have a big printout when I look up my name. You know, yours is a little bit different. Thanks for coming today. We appreciate you.
Oh no, man! I talked to Antonio about this. I've caught the previous episodes, and I mean, I thought it was a blast, man. I thought you guys are doing a great job, and Antonio and I go way back, and so I asked him about it, and it was cool.
Yeah,
we appreciate you. That means a lot to us. It really does, because we want people to tune into the show. Because we feel so strongly about it, we put a lot of heart and soul into this. We want to produce good content. So when people are reaching out to us and saying, hey, man, I like what you're doing, I'd like to be a part of it, that's the biggest compliment that we can receive, honestly.
Yeah. Well, it's heartfelt, man. Yeah. First 8 were great.
Awesome. Thank you. First 8 were great. I like that. Hey, y'all heard it here first. Nick Russ said the first 8 was great. We don't care what y'all say. Okay?
I mean, I know the comments, man. You can't believe all that.
Yeah. So today's episode, once again, is sponsored by Twins Pizza in Dublin, Virginia at 125 Broad Street. Please go patronize those folks there, the Twins at Twins. They have amazing food. Also, we would like to give a big thanks to Weston. He is the brains behind the operation. You can follow him in some of his incredible work at carmack.media on IG. Also, a big thanks to Scott Bunn here at Remax 8 for all of your housing needs. Please contact him, and also be on the lookout for his new episodes on Finding Your Place on YouTube. Those will be coming up again pretty soon, so we appreciate that. How you guys' week been so far?
I had a good week.
Yeah, I had a great week at work.
Okay, yeah. Everybody was working. Yeah, I had a good week.
I was working, but
yeah,
it's pretty out.
It was. That was one major benefit to this week, even though it was rough. Beautiful weather.
Beautiful weather.
Yeah. I get excited around fall time. You know, it really makes me feel kind of want to get around the family, be in the house, going and doing things. So
agreed, man. And you got football starting.
Man,
it's the best time of year.
Yeah,
it is for sure.
It really is. Everybody's got them parlays in.
Yeah.
How's everybody looking out there on them parlays?
Fantasy football too.
My fantasy team whooped somebody last week, and I know when he sees this, he might be a little upset.
I went 2-0. I'm in 2 leagues. Won both. I wasn't supposed to win, man.
Ooh.
I'm a big the percentage guy.
Yeah, me too.
At it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go get a free agent guy just for 1 point so I can be so I can be 51% chance of winning.
Oh man, yeah,
you drop a good player just for 1 point.
Just for 1 point. You know what that is? That's intimidation. You want him to see.
I just want you to see it.
I'm favored to win, brother. You know. So that's pretty Speaking of football today, we got the Hokies playing today. So go Hokies. Make sure you root for those guys. Next week, we're going to have an amazing game here at home, right?
Oh, yeah.
It is going to be absolutely incredible next Thursday, right?
Next Thursday.
Thursday.
It's going to be lit.
Yeah, it's going to be lit. West Virginia's coming, and I'm telling y'all right now, if you're a Tech fan, stay on your side, because they will smoke you over there if you go over there talking crazy to West Virginia fans. Just stay on your side. I got 2 things to say about that. Everybody's welcome here, but don't walk on my grass. And if you want to take it further than that, I'm selling tickets, $50 a pop. You can catch a fade outside of Lane Stadium. All right? So just let me know. But
if y'all ever do an R-rated story, I'll have to tell you about the time I went to West Virginia.
Okay. I'm excited to hear that.
That was 1997 West Virginia versus Virginia Tech football.
Oh, man.
We got in a tussle.
Hey, listen, somebody's ears got hot up there, okay? I got you. So during the week, sometimes I look at all types of stuff that makes me laugh. Sometimes I'll be in the floor laughing, right? So sometimes I like to save them. So Weston, can we pull up some of the videos I saw this week? I just want to get y'all guys' reaction to some of them. All right. See what y'all think. So,
You sent me that.
Yeah. So obviously, the safety man needs to come around and make sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of violations here that I see as far as safety goes. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, some of them are safety and some of them are human based.
Yeah. I don't know what he thought was going to happen. You got to wait on the board that you're sawing. You know what I'm saying? That could have turned out bad for him, for sure.
I mean, I wonder if that's how his bedroom is, man.
Right. Not to be too graphic, but I don't buy wooden frames anymore.
No,
No, not whatsoever. I'm going to tell you that right now. Let's roll into the next one if we could. Now, obviously,
this guy right here.
This is
We're going to share with you a technique you can use to increase your survival when someone's coming to attack you.
So he says this is going to work, Nick. Check this out.
He jacked.
And kicking at the same time. This is capoeira.
Capoeira,
Drop to
right?
the side, and you're going to kick the front leg as they come forward. As you come in, you're going to drop to your side, and this leg comes out.
What is that going to do?
That is never going to work. Let me tell you why that's
Looked
not
like
going
me
to
in
work.
1997 in West Virginia.
Is that what you did?
I was on the ground like that.
It took him 12 minutes to do the move. Listen, this guy's getting real famous, man. Detroit Urban Survival Tactics or something like that. Some of the moves that he does look pretty legit.
Yeah.
These right here, I'm telling you right now, nobody, please listen to me. Nobody go out here in the world and try this. You're going to get hurt. Okay?
I'm probably going knee there.
Yeah, you're going knee. Yeah. A good knee kick is good, but this right here is going to get somebody hurt.
You're going to get hurt.
You're going to get hurt. All right.
Okay. It looks like my mom's house for Christmas Eve.
I'm getting so hot, I'm going to take my robe off. Look at this.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah. I'm going to take my robe off.
Oh, my
I'm
goodness.
telling you right now. Y'all might have thought that y'all had a one-way ticket to heaven because y'all are a little bit older and you probably got saved 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, it did.
The Lord does not approve of this. I'm going to tell you that right now. You ain't supposed to be in the pulpit talking about, I'm so hot, I'm going to take my robe off.
We didn't do that at the Christianburg Church of
We
Brothers.
did not do that. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the Lord's going to take his hand of protection off of you.
Yeah.
You doing stuff like this. I blame the choir director. Look at him. Got these old women. She don't even know where she's at.
He was two-stepping. Look at
Yeah,
him.
he
He's
was two-stepping. Look at this guy. He's like, man, I want to do this, but dang it. Margaret right there, she's all for it. Golly. I think we got one more.
Right.
I think we got one more that I
That
saw.
was a good one.
One cup is one. This
Say please.
I'm buying all the cups.
This one, how many cups? This one.
This is 4 cups.
How many is this one?
This
how
is
many?
4 cups.
This 100 cup at least.
This is 4 right now.
I say please.
Sir, just listen. Just listen to what I'm saying. This is cup number 5. That's 5 cups.
Unreal. This is unreal.
I thought that was hilarious. He done filled up all these cups. He's like, listen, man, I'm going to pay you for them all, but they're going in this bucket. I'm saying that right now. That's hilarious,
This
man.
100 cup at least.
He told him, he said, there's 100 cups going in this bucket right here.
Sir, just listen. Just listen to what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. He's dumping them in there.
5 cups.
Unreal. This is unreal.
Look.
That dude's
He
got it figured out, man.
He got it figured out. Thank you, Weston. We appreciate that, man. Like I said, these are just some of the things that make me laugh, throughout the week. And I was like, man, I'd like to share them with you all today. So,
Oh, those are funny, man.
yeah, hilarious. Yeah. So everybody that was in that pulpit, I'll be praying for you. Hope you get your life right.
Yeah.
Okay? Because telling you that ain't the way to do it right there. I went to church for a lot of years and we ain't never mixed in a Nelly remix and took our robes off in the pulpit.
I have not.
Have not. Ever. That's just me, though. I don't know what they're doing around the
No.
world, but I'm just saying.
We used to go to church up in Dublin.
Okay.
Where your sponsor's pizza place is, and everybody go check that Twins Pizza out.
Twins Pizza, it's
Yeah,
delicious.
Broad Street, right?
125 Broad Street. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so go check that out. But
Yeah.
we used to go to New Bern Christian Church. And I always say my three favorite lead singers is Justin Timberlake, David Lee Roth, and Mitch from New Bern Christian. That dude could get it done.
Could he get it done?
Yeah, man. I
Oh,
come
man.
out there singing. I mean,
Yeah.
I just praising and happy when I come out of church, man.
awesome.
That's how it should be.
Oh yeah, this guy was just great.
That's amazing. I like when you feel renewed
Yeah,
for the week. You come out on Sunday, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna take Monday head on now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Church does that for me.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah,
I like
so
that.
good. Speaking of music, Nick, can you go through your phone and tell us maybe the last 5 or 6 stations or songs that you've listened to?
I can.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm sure everybody wants to know.
Oh no, I'm just curious.
Yeah,
just
me
to see.
too, man. Let's see what we got here. Let's go to our Apple Tune guy.
Apple Tune, yep.
All right, so this may not be a surprise. Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash.
Oh.
Is number one.
Burning,
Last
burning.
one.
Yep.
Matchbox 20.
Okay, which song?
I usually do 3 a.m. or Push.
All right.
3 a.m. I must be lonely.
Yeah,
All right,
that's a
all
good
right.
song,
That's a
man.
good song.
Yeah. Jennifer Lopez.
Which one?
I'll tell you right now. Let me see. It's hard for me. I'm Real. I love that song.
Like that song. It's a good
I
song.
like that
Her and
song,
Ja
man.
Rule. Okay.
Yeah, Ja Rule. I mean,
Yeah.
Ja's career's falling off.
Yeah, yeah.
He had a good run there.
I think he's doing MMA now. I heard. Yeah.
Okay. And now here's a good as hell by Lizzo.
You gotta love Lizzo.
Well, I see. I'd use that. So it's about 3.5 minutes long, 4 minutes. So I'll use that as my warm up for my workout.
Okay.
And I'll dance around and do my hair back and
Right.
do my
Yeah.
nails.
That's good. That's good.
And then Guns N' Roses.
Guns
All
N'
right.
Roses.
Way to finish it off.
Yeah.
And that's part of the workout.
That's a solid lineup we got
Yeah.
there, Nick. I like that. You're like me, man. Tonyo, like I said, if you've seen other episodes, they make fun of me. My playlist is all over the place.
That's me, man.
It's all over the place. I recently downloaded Luke Combs' newest album.
That dude's good.
He is amazing.
Dude is good.
I mean, that guy, I'd love to meet him in person. Luke, if you ever watch this, man, we'd love to have you on here. The Kind of Love We Make.
That's a good.
That's my song
Good
right
song,
now.
man.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
Yeah.
And if you want to go on and find Luke on YouTube, check out that Appalachian State concert he did. He did it in their football stadium, and he went to Appalachian State.
All right.
Really?
I mean, and the crowd's jacked. He's jacked because he's home.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool video.
Cool
man.
video.
Yeah, it's a cool concert.
Yeah.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, we'll check that out for sure. We might bring that up. Luke reminds me of a guy that we might run into around here at work. You know, I mean, he really gives you like this down
100%.
home feel.
Yeah.
You know, he's not too above anything. And I feel like he has a bright future ahead of him, more than what he already has. You know, he's a family
I
man.
agree.
I really like that guy.
Yeah, I do. He's selling out just about every place he goes. So he's doing really well.
Awesome.
And you know Jennifer Lopez. We all know a couple Christiansburg Jennifer Lopez's.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, definitely.
Got about 100 Instagram followers.
Yeah.
Walking around like her Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah,
I know, right?
yeah. They got taken. They went out on one date, and somebody took them to the farmhouse, and now you can't talk to them.
They're real, man.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I hope them crab cakes was worth it, sweetheart. Because I ain't paying for it.
They probably went calamari, man.
Yeah, they went calamari, sitting there chewing forever. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's see here. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, no, that's cool, dude. Now, can you imagine being
I couldn't.
from that area?
Show is a long time in the making.
And you
for me.
come back and you get to
I
do
attended
this for your
college here at
hometown.
This
Appalachian
is
State
crazy.
University.
I just want to go to
Taught
country,
myself to play guitar 10
you know,
years ago
concerts and wear a hat
in
and
the
just get out in the
town that we're
crowd
in
because
right
I'm
now.
telling you, the women there are
I
just
wrote
incredible.
the first song that I
Very
ever
nice
wrote
singer.
Very nice, right?
in this town. And tonight, I'm playing my first stadium show in that same
Goodness,
town.
look at that.
All the love and
Where I taught
It is
myself how to
nice.
play guitar. It's real hard to believe.
I work with 4 dudes that look just like him.
Yeah. I'm not sure who's copying who, but there's
I
a
don't know
lot
what's
of that.
going on, but
3 or 4 or more.
wow, that's pretty awesome, man. I mean, that thing is it's jam packed.
Well, you know, I mean, look, I've taken a lot of pride in representing my hometown,
Right.
whether it be on the board of supervisors or in Richmond in the General Assembly, and it does give you pride.
Yes, sir.
And you look, I can only imagine going back to your college and having that thing full, and everybody going, "Man, I can't wait to see Luke Combs." And
Yeah.
he's like, "I was just here like
Yeah.
5 years ago, man."
Yeah, we used to sit
I was
beside
sitting
each
here-
other in
yeah.
sociology.
I'm sitting here watching App State, you know, play somebody, and then he's got a bigger crowd than the football team.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's super cool, man.
Yeah, Yeah. I probably would have took a chance to by name list some people when I was up there. And I'd say, if the following people are in the stands, y'all leave now.
Yeah. That's right.
That's what I'd have told them. Yeah, you didn't believe me? Don't be here now yelling. So no. But, your resume, a lot of things that you've done is incredible, right? You are a person that I admire because you're not scared to try things that may scare you, right?
I mean, I would. Yeah, unfortunately,
Right.
from my success ratio.
Right. But a thing that I've learned, Nick, is in order to be successful, you have to fail, right?
Oh yeah, no, I failed. I have failing, whatever that is, several times.
Right.
I started the Roanoke Rush in 1995.
Right.
And we had 3 really successful years on the field, but financially you just couldn't pull it off.
Okay.
And it's the difference between, like, say, basketball, baseball, and football. Obviously, football is much more popular.
Yeah.
Right.
But you have more players and you play less games.
Right.
So you look at an NBA roster, or even if you were having a minor league, the D League overseas, you got 12 guys on it.
Yeah.
And you can play 40, 60, NBA 83 games.
Right.
Roster in baseball is 22, 24 with pitchers.
Yeah.
And they're playing 162 games. So that's 162 revenue opportunities. It's 83 revenue opportunities, not including playoffs.
Right.
You go to football, it's 10 or 11 or 12.
Right. And you got to perform.
And you got to perform.
Right.
And it's played in the fall. So, if you're a minor league football team like the Roanoke Rush was, and it's raining, I mean, you might go sit out and watch your son play at Christiansburg High School, which I've done, and my dad did for me.
Right.
Or you might go over and watch the Hokies, but you probably ain't going to see the Rush.
Right. In the rain.
In the rain. Or if it's 25 degrees.
Right.
And the business model of that, so if I was to go back in time, I probably wouldn't have done that.
Okay.
Even though I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And it was fun. Sometimes you do stuff for that. But that was just a tough business model. And that's why you see the USFL. All these things end up over time. They just can't sustain itself.
Right. Right.
And that's the big thing there.
Big thing.
So, I've had a lot of failures, but, I've had a good time most of everything I've done.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And like I tell Tonio, at the end of it all, you'll be able to look back and you'll be able to look at that list that I think we all have in our heads.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to say, listen, I got a check mark beside each one of those, regardless of how it turned out.
I agree, man.
I did it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And I work hard at stuff. And that's, if people are looking for, reasons for success or failure, a lot of times it's hard work.
Hard work. Right.
And it's putting in that time to make sure you're getting, perfecting your craft and putting the time in to make sure it works.
Right. I recently had a dinner with a friend of mine, and he told me, he said, Derek, we absolutely love what you're doing. He's like, but never forget to always have fun on this platform.
That's it, man.
Have fun. He told me, he said, everything else will come. He said, you guys are creative. You guys are giving us something brand new and fresh. He said, just fully focus on content and having fun.
Well, yeah. And look, your enthusiasm is infectious. I mean,
Right.
I'm laughing here. And, I've been here 20 minutes.
20 minutes,
total,
right,
man.
right.
We're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
jamming it out.
Jamming it out,
Having fun, man.
yeah.
I've known Antonio a long time. I've known you a long time, but
Right.
I've obviously known Antonio through my family. And, I feel like I'm sitting here with buddies. So.
Yeah, we are. We're buddies. And I told Tony, I said a funny story. A couple years ago, me and you were at a furniture store, right? And we were having a conversation. And we didn't know, but me and you bought the same furniture set.
Oh,
right?
That's funny. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, man.
Yeah, so
what was it? I don't remember.
I think it was like it was a 3-piece set leather sofa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So me and you were both sitting back there. We didn't say it, but we were both looking like, okay, like who's gonna get this couch? 'Cause we thought they only had one left,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So they go to the back, right? Me and you were sitting there talking.
I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Yep. And they wheeled the couch out, right? So I'm looking at you, you're looking at me. It kind of felt like that Western.
Yeah, that's
they're
it.
like,
Yeah.
like they're staring each other
In
down.
all
you know?
honesty, I was probably hoping you got it because my wife probably wanted it. I'm probably like, we don't need that.
We don't need it. Yeah. And you had this nice truck outside parked up front. You're ready to get it. And I'm sitting there, and the guy said, "Yeah. So which one? you know, you guys is going to. Me and you both looked at each other and you were like, yep. And so they wheeled it up and you put your hand on it and we walked it all the way.
I do remember that, man. I do remember that.
And the funny thing was, me and you kept talking, and then the guy comes back and he said, "Oh, sir, we do have another one back here."
Yeah.
I always remember that. I said, you know, that's funny, man.
That's just funny.
It is. It's hilarious. Giving people a glimpse into what kind of motivated you. You're from this area, went to Christiansburg High School.
Yeah.
Family is here, right?
Yeah, mom, dad.
Mom, dad. What kind of motivated you after high school to join the military? Thank you for your service, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
What kind of pushed you into that field instead of going, you know, a traditional route, I would say?
Well, yeah, and you know, and sometimes when I'm like on Zoom calls or I'm giving presentations or making sales, you know, having sales calls, you know, I tell people I have an non-traditional route to where I'm at. And, you know, it was the 80s. It was a little different time. I mean, 1986 was the original Top Gun. Right. And that's when I joined the Army.
Oh, man.
So, I mean,
The year I was born.
yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of folks that were very, you know, it was more patriotic time. There's more. The country was a little closer together, less divided. And man, my family is all military. So both my granddads served in World War II. My dad was in the Army. I had 3 uncles in Vietnam.
Thank you for their services.
Oh yeah, man. Myself and my brother. My brother's a retired lieutenant colonel from the Marine Corps.
Wow.
Christiansburg grad, VMI grad. And then both of my sons graduated from Virginia Tech, served in the Army, both Iraq War veterans. 2017, I'm running for re-election, and my sons, Cody and Forrest, are in Iraq.
Oh, good.
Wow.
I mean, so you talk about a stressful year.
Oh, gosh, yeah, that perspective is just, you know.
Well, so, I mean, I caught it early because my brother deployed to Iraq 3 times. And so, I'd find myself catch myself looking at Drudge, you know, make sure that, you know, because they usually throw something up, you know, tragedy in Iraq or something. And then when you have, which I love my brother. I mean, I love him like a brother. But you know, when you have your 2 sons over there, it was a little stressful for me and Jennifer, and it was tough. Right. But I mean, we got through it. They got safe. One of the big things for me is, and I'm involved in a group that meets in Rafford and Christiansburg called Buddy Check 22. Okay. It brings awareness to veteran mental health issues because, you know, you have a higher suicide rate. It's about double the regular population or non-veteran population. And, you know, big thing for me is I didn't want my brother and my 2 sons to come back changed. Yeah. Right. You know, mentally. Right. And because so many of our veterans do, and that's why we need to focus on services for them, you know, have awareness and make sure veterans are getting the treatments they need, whether it be at the VA or you know, church counselor or just going to one of these meetings and standing up and going telling people, hey, man, I might need to call y'all during the week. Right. It's tough. And it does. And that's cool. You know, veterans help veterans all the time. And I know civilians, you know, help veterans too. But, you know, and then my nephew, he joined Kane. Kane's in the Marine Corps.
Oh, wow.
He's in for the football game.
Is he?
Awesome.
Yeah,
okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. So he's a sergeant in the Marine Corps. So we've got a long history of military service. I wouldn't say it was expected, but I kind of just grew into it, man.
Grew into it. You know, when your family's kind of designed that way.
Yeah.
Mine is similar, you know, and you hit the nail on the head. You pray that combat and those type of things don't change the person. Yeah. But that environment, I always tell people you have to kind of become a different person just to get through, right?
Yeah, I agree.
You know, because once you're there, you know you're going to be there for a year or more. And you're like, okay, for right now, this little cot, this tent, this is home. You know, this is where I'm at. And if you can get that in your head and just program yourself like that and just get used to the, you know, the day-to-day stuff. I'm not saying that it's easy, but I'm glad that your boys came home and they're going.
Yeah, man. I honestly, you know, was one of my biggest fears.
Right.
And in the military, you know, you like this is going to be your place, and if you once you can learn to mentally accept those things, absolutely, you can do it. Yeah. I can remember one of the first times I was out in the field with the 82nd Airborne Division. I mean, I looked at the forecast before we left. It was going to rain for 4 straight days. We were out there for like 7. Yeah. I just said, all right, man, it's going to rain, and just not worry about it.
Right.
And I was helping my son move in. He moved. My oldest boy Cody moved back to Reiner. He's getting ready to transition out of the Army into the reserves.
Okay.
And I was standing there talking to the movers, and they were out of D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy looked at me and said, "Are you in the military too?" And I said, "Oh yeah, man, I was in the military." He's like, "Well, I could tell because you're standing in the rain." They're all huddled in the truck.
Yeah. What they
That
used
wouldn't
to tell
bother
us.
me, man. I didn't think nothing about it.
Yeah. What they used to tell us: if it ain't raining, we ain't training.
That's it, man.
You know,
and
so-
you're just going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your war don't stop on the rain
No.
or any of that.
Nope. And you were a paratrooper.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you? I know what that is.
Yeah.
Can you explain to the viewers, the Steak and Sauce family, that may not know what that entails, being a paratrooper?
Well, I mean, so you're an elite light infantry. Light infantry, you don't have tanks, armor support. You're basically walking and fighting, and you arrive on the battlefield by airplane.
By airplane.
So you
Yep. Perfectly
exit-
good airplane, by the way.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Those are better.
Those are better. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're sitting up there like, why are we jumping out of a perfectly good airplane? Like
Well,
this.
that's a great question.
Right,
So
yeah.
That's because the 82nd Airborne Division is to deploy anywhere in the world in 18 hours.
Right.
So you always have a brigade. So there's 3 brigades. You always have a brigade on standby, and they need to be prepared to leave Fort Bragg within 18 hours and deploy. And you're going to be able to. Mostly your mission is going to be to jump and take airfield, so regular soldiers can come in, non-elite guys.
Legs.
So you take the airport, and to allow for other troops to come in, or is urban combat, a lot of stuff like that. Now, I never served in combat, just to be clear for Steak and Sauce fans. My brother, my uncles, my sons, but I haven't, so I don't want to take that. Try to put that on myself, but I trained for it.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
we did
You were ready
urban
to go.
training. Yeah, we were always ready. And I thank God I didn't have to go.
Right. And that's a blessing.
That's good for the country.
Yeah. It's a blessing.
You don't know what I'd have done.
He said, you don't know what I'd have done over there.
Hey, look, man, I had an E6.
Yeah.
Well, that's a staff sergeant. And I can remember him telling me, because I was like a private. He's like, "Nick, your job's easy." He said, "I've never been to combat." He said, "What if we had to go somewhere tomorrow?" I started thinking, that guy's right.
I got to follow this guy. And all you got to do is follow orders. Hey, it comes from you.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what you're doing,
I mean, you're in trouble.
you're in trouble. Hey, we both going to be looking at each other like, hey, what's going on over here? But,
when I was in, it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it was the tail end of the Vietnam era guys getting out. Right. So it was really cool. Like my first sergeant, my sergeant major, my lieutenant colonel were all Vietnam vets and all special forces in Vietnam. And so you're like, all right, man.
That's a different breed.
That's pretty cool. I mean, Vietnam was a war that we won, but we didn't win the politics of it. Right. But militarily, we won. Those guys were elite soldiers, but you felt comfortable knowing, like, man, I got to be anywhere in the world in 18 hours. I'll take 3 Green Berets from Vietnam with me.
Yeah, for sure.
You definitely want those guys with you.
I'll do that, man.
Yeah.
And we had multiple E7s, were in Hamburger Hill or in the 1st Cav. Those guys, and I was lucky to see those guys when they're in the youth and still able to, perform soldierly duties and stuff. Right. It was cool, man.
Yeah. Always reminds me of that different time frame, but we were soldiers, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the guy passes Sergeant Major. Good morning, Sergeant Major. He says, how do you know what type of day? And I don't know. I went in right after high school.
Yeah.
And I deployed once to Iraq, twice to Afghanistan.
Thank you, man.
And I always tell people, when I see a Vietnam vet, Korean War vet, any of those guys, I tell them thank you, because that era, what they experienced, they didn't classify PTSD back then, right?
No.
There was no classification for what those guys were experiencing. They didn't have the resources. They didn't have the help.
Well, and it was not masculine to seek it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, you were internalizing everything, and full disclosure, I think sometimes we disclose too much.
Yes.
But not in that arena. And those guys, now it's a much better situation. And my aunt worked at the VA. I think she just retired like me last year. And, they were still having Vietnam vets coming for counseling and those things. And that's great.
Right.
That is great, and we've come a long way in that space, and we got a lot of work to do, though. We got a lot of work to do, and that's what that Buddy Check 22, and it's the 22nd of every month. We got to get you over there.
Yes, I was going to say that I'd love to. I have a hat that I got from work. And,
man!
A guy that I know that works for a company, he got me a hat. I mean, and it was talking about saving the 22 lives per day, getting that number to where it's not because that's very sad.
Well, so the local Marine Corps League. Have you ever seen those dudes out?
I don't think
those
I've
guys.
seen
Those guys are so cool, man.
Okay,
they got like matching polos and little hats.
Okay,
I mean, they got their stuff squared away.
Okay.
And not like the Army and the rest of us. We're just like rolling around with like stuff from Walmart, and Cracker Barrel,
right.
But those guys started this Buddy Check 22, and so on the 22nd of every month at McAdoo's and Rafford and Mission Barbecue in Christiansburg, a group of veterans get together. One, it's a lot of just back and forth goofing around. That's why I like it.
Yeah.
But also there's always a presenter or a speaker, and where we circle back around and remember the mission of helping veterans with they're going through mental health crisis.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, man, we have to get you over there.
I would love it.
It's open to all veterans, and it's just a good group of guys. And that's when I was in the House of Delegates. Those guys never treated me like that. It was always like I was a private. They'd like crack on me, make fun of me. Oh, the politician's coming in. Oh, yeah, you showed up this month. Where were you last month? Those dudes always give me a bunch of crap, which I like, man.
Yeah. Feed off of it.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
It's cool, yeah.
And, I was just like one of the guys, so it was super fun.
That's awesome.
It is super fun. I think I went last. We had a game that week, so I think it was last month I went.
Okay. And now, is that open for everybody that's going to be tuning in? Is that program open to any vets in the area? Okay.
Yeah, any vet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it's a great resource, man. You're going to meet somebody that can help you.
Awesome. Yeah. So, guys, I would love to be a part of that. I'm definitely going to check that out for sure. And so after your military service, you came back home?
Yeah, got a job at FedEx.
Okay.
Yeah. And
when did you initially get interested into politics and wanting to go that route? Can you explain that a little bit for us and give us the...
Yeah, so I don't think it was ever like a plan. It was just always an interest. I mean, I can remember, I grew up on what we call top of the mountain, Cumberland Forest. We moved up here in like 7th grade. And I can remember telling my mom, hey, call me at 6:30, holler for me to come in at 6:30. I want to watch the news. And so, I mean, I'd always be interested in the news. We had encyclopedias, which is, y'all don't know about, but they used to be a thing.
Right. Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, man. Like, I would flip through. I would flip through and read it. I'd find something on the news, and I'd get the encyclopedia and look it up.
Right.
And my encyclopedias were so old, it didn't have the end of the Vietnam War in it. I had to wait. I had to wait for the movies to come out to see who won that.
Right.
But and so I was always interested in it. I can remember coming down, getting up early and seeing what the primary results were, and just always just passionate about it.
Gotcha.
And then so I was 23 and I decided to run for board of supervisors. And my election, a lot of politicians, a lot of political people have never beaten anybody like an incumbent. Like 97% of incumbents win.
Gotcha.
It's hard to beat an incumbent. Yeah. So I ran against the incumbent. She was a former chairman of the board of supervisors. And the guy beating the primary ran against me as an independent. So I actually beat a former board of supervisor chairman and another Republican.
Sheesh.
At 23. And we did that, hard work out every night, knocking on doors, man. Knocking on doors.
Yeah.
And, don't help it. I was Donna Rush's son.
Right.
Yeah, right. She's a lovely woman.
She's pretty popular. I've never forgotten,
Right.
I don't think I did it all on my own.
Right. Well, what's that word? Nepotism?
Yeah. Now, she ain't never run for public office, but if she did, she'd win.
Right.
Yeah, she'd beat me easy.
Right, yeah. Did y'all ever, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
man.
Did y'all ever receive any adverse reactions for y'all knocking on doors and stuff?
Oh yeah, man. So I always say this, and I think it's important, in a divided country, and even in this community where Blacksburg's liberal, Christiansburg's more conservative. 99% of people have been nice to me. I've been in this for 31 years.
Wow.
And 99% of people have been nice to me. And that 1% is evenly divided by people who vote for me and don't vote for me.
Right.
You know, you're not going to please everybody all the time.
Right.
But I've had people slam a door in my face and, you know, tell me they'll never vote for me. And, you know, I just go on about my business, man.
Right.
I mean, this lady came up to me, I just want you to know I'm never going to vote for you again. I said, well, you do what you got to do. I never expect to get 100% of the vote.
Right.
And you just move on, man.
Yeah.
And, but again, man, people are good if you let them.
Right.
If you let them.
That's awesome.
And I always try to put a positive spin on politics.
Yeah.
When people say politician, I don't take it as a cut, but, you know, I always say elected official.
Yeah. It sounds better, right?
Yeah, it just sounds better. You know?
Elected official, right.
Well, I can remember one time this lady was in my office and she was telling me all this stuff and, you know, you don't want this or you don't want people voting and you don't want that. I said, ma'am, I do well with voters. That's why I'm sitting here.
Right. Yeah. You keep doing what you're doing. Okay. Making hot dogs.
I'm doing pretty good, man.
Right. Yeah.
I got a lot of votes last time.
You know what you should have said?
More people vote, more votes I get.
Right. You know what you should have said? You know what my mama is? No, I'm just-
Really should. She probably did.
Right.
She probably had her.
Oh man. What was some of your guys' campaign strategies?
I always outwork them.
Okay.
Always outwork your opponent. Never take them lightly. I mean, some of the elections I've had, you know, the odds were stacked in my favor. Mm-hmm. And so I would always tell my campaign manager, we're the NASCAR driver with the fastest car. We hit our marks. We don't make mistakes. When we come into the pits, we do it right.
Yeah.
We do everything right. And we just outwork them. And we've already done the work. You know, we already have the car.
Right.
You know, that was the previous 5 elections I had won. You know, I built this resume. I appreciate you complimenting it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that was the car. And now we got to do is hit our marks.
Right.
And you go out and you lead and you outwork your opponent and, you know, and just stay on the positive, man. Stay on the positive. People like that. They respond to it. And I'm not being fake. That's my
down to earth.
Yes, naturally my personality.
Right.
But you know, I enjoy people, man.
Right.
I enjoy people, and I like knocking on doors.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. You never know what's going to happen. I've sat in people's house for an hour, had the door slammed in my face,
right?
Gotten cookies and, you know, moonshine, you name it,
everything.
Hit my dog, chased by bees. It's getting, when you're out there, man, it happens.
Right. It reminds me of that the movie The Campaign.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie. That's a good movie.
Yeah, right. I love that movie. But what were some of the things? The people that you were going out and meeting, what were some of their major concerns for this area, not only New River Valley, but Virginia as a whole?
Well, so a lot of it's jobs and economics.
Okay.
You know, we live in Southwest Virginia where we have limited economic opportunity, and we have to improve that. And I didn't know you were going to ask that question, but I did just get appointed to the State Economic Development Board.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing that, helping rural Virginia, helping the New River Valley and Southwest Virginia. Those are always going to be my priorities. I always say this, you know, rich people can do it on their own, man. They got enough people helping them. Right. I'm here to help working people and people that are trying to get into the middle class. And we do that, you know. I was lucky enough to be on some of the important committees that made sure we got the Volvo expansion. That was the largest. That was the largest economic development project in the history of rural Virginia.
Really?
Yeah, I did the legislation. Or there were 2 sets of it, but I did one of the legislations for the Amazon project. Now a lot of people go, I mean, what does that mean? Well, what I did was Virginia did not give incentives. Let me rephrase this. Virginia did not outbid other states with incentives and money to Amazon.
Okay.
What we said we would do in Virginia would be invest in our higher education system to create the degrees that Amazon needs
to run their facility.
Their facilities.
Okay.
Now, those people don't have to work there. They can go work anywhere. But we did increase the pool. And we did that by about 25,000 over 10 years. And so Virginia Tech's getting a new-ish post-grad campus in Northern Virginia, which gives them a real good presence there. Wow. And then we're getting about 3,000 new students here in the New River Valley. And those are economic development things. Yeah. We're increasing the workforce. We're increasing the education level. We're increasing economic opportunity that comes along with those things. And it's going to lift people out of poverty.
That's the main thing.
And,
giving people opportunity, creating jobs, and that's why I'm thankful. I tell people all the time, I am thankful for my family, for the opportunities that they've had to raise their children here. The main life sources: Corning, Volvo, the Arsenal, Moog, Polyscientific back in the day where my grandmother was, AEP. We've been through, these are the root companies here that people have been able to send their kids to college on, to
100%.
retire, to do those things. And like you said, you helping develop that even more. Next time, if Volvo has a strike or something like that, I'm gonna go straight up there. I'm gonna tell y'all want me to call Nick Rush?
No, those are my boys. I'll go to management. I had to go to management and tell them, hey, you get my boys back to work.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna tell you, y'all want me to call him?
Yeah, you get me up here, man.
Yeah.
But so that's cool because Corning, when I was on the board of supervisors, we did some economic incentives to maintain their facility here. They were having some problems with the rail, getting rail shipments in.
Okay.
We were able to help them with that. And when you're in these positions, if you use them the right way and you don't try to draw attention to yourself and some of the things that a lot of our politicians do, and if you go out and do the work, you'll get the attention because you've earned it. Yeah. But two, you're going to be helping people,
right? And
they're going to remember that. I mean, I talk to people all the time. Hey Nick, man, I really appreciate that time you called VDOT for me and I don't really remember it. I mean, I know I done it.
Right.
I'll tell you, this is a funny story, man. So I saw my the guy that used to drive my bus when I was like 5, from kindergarten to 5th grade.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I saw him at Wade's. Obviously, this was several years ago. He's like, Nick, man, he said, I cannot get my road repaired. I can't get and I know where he lived. He lived down on top of a mountain.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, man. I said, I'll call VDOT for you. He didn't live in my district, but I mean, he's a friend. Yeah. I used to drive my bus. I grew up with his kids, so I'm going to call anyway. I didn't go, hey, man, call the other delegate. So I called over VDOT, and this was funny, man. He was like, Nick, you ain't going to believe this. I got a maintenance crew like half a mile from there. We'll go down there and do it right now.
Hey,
the next time that guy saw me, he thought I was top dog. Yeah,
hey, y'all heard it here. Nick's the man. Okay,
Nick Rush, dictator of New River Valley. Man.
He is. Hey, we got Nick Rush on the show.
It just happened to be. I did make the call.
Right,
I did it immediately.
Yeah,
I got the guy's number, so I just called him when I got in my car. He's like, dude, you're not going to believe this.
That is amazing.
I'm not sure he wasn't being done by the time he got home.
Right. Hey, steak and sauce family, I'm telling you right now.
It was that worked out for me. Now, there's been a couple times that VDOT hadn't been able to do anything, and people have been very disappointed.
Right. Just know, me and Tonio getting a little situation, I'm making a call. And I'm telling y'all right now, whoever y'all want to represent y'all, he ain't as big as Nick. I'm making a phone call, I'm telling you. No, but that's awesome. I'm glad that you could help him out.
Yeah,
and,
cool,
people can approach you. He probably thought that would probably never get done.
Yeah.
And a shot in the dark, he said, hey, the one guy that I know that may be able to do something.
Yeah.
Let me try.
And again, man, I was walking in Wilderness Trail Festival today, and my wife and I have a charity, Gay Whitaker Memorial Fund.
Okay.
And we raise money for women who are battling cancer in the New River Valley, help them with everyday expenses. Because most people don't, even if you got great insurance, you got to have gas to go to Winston-Salem or Duke or UVA.
Right.
Eat out because you're going into hospitals, your family. We just help them with those expenses. Right. And we've got an event coming up October 9th, I think. It's called the Bruiser Boot Camp Run. It's cool, man.
Okay.
It's cool.
Okay.
It's sponsored by Corona Seltzers. I've never had one, but I do drink Corona. I love Corona. So it's a 2-mile run, and we got 4 boot camp stations.
Oh.
So we holler at you like you're in basic training.
That's awesome.
That was great.
That is awesome.
I mean, you can come be a DI, man.
Okay, can I come?
DI,
Hey, I will put a hat on. I will get on them.
Oh, I mean, like last year, me and Jason Ballard, he's the delegate from Giles County, we worked the station with the ammo cans. And so you come in, I think you had to do some push-ups, carry these ammo cans 15 yards one way, 15 yards back, and we're just screaming at you the whole time.
Yeah.
Just in your ear.
Hey, pick it up.
Yeah, pick it up. I mean, I need this ammo. What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we're just nailing them.
Right.
And my brother,
Nathan.
and Antonio, my brother was born a Marine. All right, so
Born,
like 1 day old, he was like, I was like, this dude's gonna be in the Marine Corps,
Right.
And so he was there, and he was hilarious, and I mean it was fun, and the participants have a lot of fun with it,
Right.
So I mean maybe we can plug that later on.
I would love that.
yeah.
I would love the opportunity. Maybe we can go out there and we could, Weston, shoot a small segment of me and Antonio out there.
Oh, that'd be cool, man. Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be awesome, you know?
But so I was down Wilderness Trail today, and a lady I was walking by, and she goes, "Hey, Nick." And so I walked up to her, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And she was like, "Hey, man, I just didn't know anybody who else. I've had this question." She's like, I have a foster child, and they have substance abuse problems, and I've been told that there are no substance abuse problems or no substance abuse facilities for teenagers in the New River Valley. And first thing I said, so, well, if that's true, that's my fault. I've been doing this for 31 years. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have known it 5 years ago. And if, I would have been working to do something about that.
Yes.
And I went on to explain, I can understand some things that you wouldn't have here in the New River Valley, but substance abuse is not one of them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, we have problems with that all over rural America, but here, including New River Valley.
Right.
And so, and I told her, I said, well, I will get you with the right people to see what we can do to remedy this. And I mean, I was really disappointed in myself, but I didn't know, man. I didn't know. And I used to tell constituents, I'd give speeches all the time, and I'd be like, all right, guys, don't call me on Monday for a vote on Friday. You call me on Thursday.
Right.
You know your business better than I do.
Right. Right.
If I'm getting ready to do something bad, tell me.
Tell me, advise me.
Yeah.
Right? Advise me.
Yeah, I mean, because when you're up in Richmond, and we would do, I mean, I used to say this all the time, we would deal with issues from coal mining to offshore fishing.
Wow.
And everything in between.
Right.
And so the stuff's coming at you. So Lord knows I've made several mistakes while I was up in Richmond, and sometimes I would correct them. Sometimes I'd apologize when I get home for them. But when you're talking with your elected officials, let them know where you stand on this stuff. Man.
Okay.
And that they want to hear it.
Right.
They want to hear it. And they want to hear it nicely. You don't have to be a jerk about stuff.
Right.
Like I said, 99% of people were always nice to me. But you want to be like, hey, Marie, hey, Jason, hey, David, this is my problem I'm seeing, whether it be in my schools, whether it be off of the roads, police departments, whatever you got going on in your life. Or I can't operate my small business, man. Government's getting in my way. I could expand by 50 jobs if I didn't have this regulation. And, sometimes you can help with that, especially in the smallest voice can be amplified with the right person trying to help you.
Right.
So, and you just got to, seek those people out, man.
Right.
And vote for them.
Vote.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the main thing.
Research, do your research.
Do your research. A lot of people don't believe, and a lot of people think it's like a fallacy, but it's real. We have a definite hand in who our representatives are.
You get the elected officials you deserve.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think
you get to
it's
choose, man.
You get to choose. So if you don't like what's going on, if you don't, and I'm not saying, just do it for a negative thing.
No.
I'm saying, go out there, like you said, do the research, find out where these people are from. What are their values? What are their core values?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that they stand on? I know right now, I'm a big, Second Amendment supporter, and I've been doing a lot of research, and I wanted to ask you today, because I know you're going to be here, what are some of the things here in Virginia, if you know or you may not know, some of the things that we can help better educate ourselves on with the new, like the primaries and things that are coming up,
Right.
And how to be able to sift through some of this information that we're getting and make the right decision so that we can continue to protect that amendment.
Yeah, I mean, you really need to research what their folks' records are.
Gotcha.
Because when they're in a campaign season, people can say or will say or do anything. Your opponent will say or do anything about you.
Right.
One of the biggest Second Amendment supporters, this was several years ago, had a group come in and try to act like he was anti-Second Amendment, and he was 100% Second Amendment. And, they were just trying to spend money to beat him.
Right.
So, it's not always, don't look at your mailbox and go, oh, well, this other guy's going to tell me what to think. I mean, you got to do your own research, and there's plenty of avenues to do that. There's plenty of avenues to do that.
Right.
And look, man, check the things that are important to you.
Right.
And don't go down and go, man, I got to find that 100% candidate. I mean, if this guy misses on, Second Amendment, you got some important ones.
Right.
They got to check.
Right.
But don't, don't get down to your 15th issue and cross somebody off.
Oh, he didn't make 20.
Yeah. They didn't want to put a stoplight out by my neighborhood or something.
Down on Roanoke. Yeah.
So, I mean, prioritize what's important to you.
Right.
And personality, may be important to you. You may not care about some of that.
Right.
I'm sure, like I used to look at veterans. I tend to vote in a primary. I'll tend to vote for a veteran.
Right.
Unless I don't like them. I mean, like they, like on my 5 issues there, those 5 that are important to me, they didn't check the box.
You don't like Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Nope. I'm joking.
Look, man. What are those chicken minis?
Yeah.
That's what God gets for breakfast.
That's what
when God orders out, he goes to the drive-thru, he's getting chicken minis, man.
Yeah, chicken minis. Yeah. I went to Chick-fil-A one day. They gave me one bag of food, right? That I ordered. The other bag was full of sauce. I said, goodness gracious. I said, this is amazing. You go to Wendy's right now and ask for ketchup, you might get 2 packets.
Maybe.
You ask for a third, you're doing the most.
You better have a smile on your face.
You better have a smile on your face, and you better say you have a blessed day.
That's exactly right, man.
So now that you've taken on this new role,
Commonwealth NIL?
Yes. Sir. And kind of doing some of your research, what really motivated you guys? Did you see a need for something like this in this area?
Yeah. So I was in the General Assembly. I'm a big college sports fan, primarily Virginia Tech. Antonio knows this. My NFL teams are teams that Virginia Tech players play.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I always,
Hokies.
Yeah. So I follow. I got the NFL ticket for a decade because of Michael Vick, and then I got it another decade because of Tyrod Taylor.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to watch their games.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm pulling for the Bears because of Khalil Herbert. I think he's a really underrated Virginia Tech player that's going to have a great NFL career. I mean, if you guys hadn't picked him up on your fantasy team, you probably will because he's going to score touchdowns for the Bears.
Gotcha. Well, I got David Montgomery, so I'm hoping.
Well, at some point,
the carries. He's going to take over.
At some point, he's going to take over.
Yeah.
And Montgomery's a good back, but Khalil Herbert's just special, man. He's got vision that you.
He scored a touchdown last week, too.
Yeah, you just don't see it with other backs. Right. You just don't see it.
Don't see it. My family split. My dad, Antonio, diehard Cowboys fans, right?
Yeah.
My grandmother is sitting at home. She's got her Steelers blanket. I got her a Steelers lamp.
I love it.
So we are split.
Yeah.
And I have the Steelers defense. I got, what's his name, Harris.
Yeah.
I got some of the players, And so I have to be careful because when you're at my dad's house, listen, America's team.
Yeah,
right?
My buddy Jerry Henline's like that.
Yeah,
he texts a Cowboy gift every other day.
Right.
He came into my basement one time. He was like, "Man, y'all got that Cowboys game on?" I was like, "I don't know who they playing." He's like, "Well, who's going to beat them?" And so that's the name of our text.
Yeah.
I mean, that was 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
We still make fun of him for
who's going to beat them?
I don't know. Half the league.
He said half the league.
I'm not sure what your point you're trying to make.
Is that cold-blooded? Yeah. How do you feel about that?
That was a little blow.
I like the Cowboys.
Right.
I like Dax. I love that receiver.
CD.
Yeah, CD's good.
CD Lamb.
CD Lamb's good.
I will say one thing about CD Lamb, not to get off topic.
I'm already got off topic. We're going to talk about Commonwealth NIL.
CD Lamb went across the middle, and he tried to get his head around to see where them DBs was coming from before that ball hit his hands. Dropped it. He was worried about where them sharks was coming from.
Well, you need to get him in space.
Yeah, you got to get
him in space.
Get him out.
He's not going. He's not going to be. You need to have guys clearing out for him.
Yeah,
taking safeties and linebackers and let him just.
I'd put him on all street. Air it out to him because I'm telling you right now, y'all put him across the middle.
it's not his thing.
No, it's not his thing, you know. But I,
Well, so I was, a big college sports fan. So I followed the case. I happened to be in the House of Delegates.
Okay.
College sports fan, House of Delegates guy.
Right.
And I followed that case. California passed a law that said you could pay athletes.
Yeah.
And so I followed it all the way up to the Supreme Court. And then when that hit, I was still in the General Assembly. And so I helped craft the language that became the law for NIL activities in Virginia.
right.
And also I've started, thinking, well, maybe I could help in this. I know a lot of folks, so that basically became an idea just to help Virginia Tech, its athletes in this area. Right. I mean, people really, having grown up here, we don't understand the impact that this has.
Right.
I always say this. Virginia Tech football actually probably has a bigger economic impact in the New River Valley than the Dallas Cowboys do in Dallas. If you just look at
you can
what it brings.
Yeah, at the numbers.
Right, yeah.
And so like let's say I'm going someplace to do an economic development trip. Virginia Tech puts the New River Valley on national television probably 15, 20 times a year. Right. Look at those softball games.
Yeah.
Live from Blacksburg, Virginia. Those super regionals live from Blacksburg, Virginia.
Right.
People, I go to college stadiums all over the world. There have never been a louder one than here in Blacksburg, Virginia.
Jump.
Stadium.
Yeah.
And so that gives us a notoriety. I was meeting it was in Roanoke. I was meeting a French CEO of a pipe building company. Wow. So we were trying to bring these, my dad's a welder. And so it was really important to me to go meet these guys. And they were going to build big industrial pipes, for like cities like Philadelphia, big high rises and underground pipes, these huge industrial pipes. And I was meeting him, and he was like, well, are you from, speaking with a French accent, which I can't do, are you from Roanoke? And I said, well, no, I'm up the hill. I live near Virginia Tech. The very first thing he said to me was Michael Vick.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was like 2004.
Wow.
He looked at me and says, Michael Vick. And I said, yeah.
Yeah,
Michael Vick.
And legend. And I always say this, some people disagree. You can see the structural development that changed in the time period that he was here.
That's 100%.
100%. From what it used to look like at that stadium, Lane Stadium, to some of the facilities and the way that they built that up, because I watched it happen. I remember me and Tony.
We lived it.
We lived it. I remember going and watching Michael throw one of his first passes while they were warming up, and it hit the dude's hands, and you could hear the pop across the field. And I knew then, this guy's different.
Well, that same buddy of mine, Henline, Antonio has met him a bunch of times, Cowboy fan. He's a Virginia Tech fan also. He used to work in the building maintenance over in Blacksburg, and he told me in 1998, he was like, man, I keep hearing they cannot stop this freshman from Warwick. And I was like, who is he? He's like, Michael Vick. He said they cannot stop him. That was a top 10 defense.
Yeah.
They couldn't stop him. And then they rolled him out that next year, and then the rest is, history.
History. Yeah.
And Mike, which I happen to know Mike,
okay,
which is kind of cool. And he has said, wonder what NIL would have done for him.
Really?
God.
Yeah, I mean, he became a national brand, exciting.
Yes.
And he would have been able to stay another year, maybe matured a little, and been better prepared for NFL.
Even though he was the number one pick.
Right. And he shouldn't have stayed. And he had a wonderful NFL career.
Right.
I mean, I think he's the best dual threat quarterback of all time.
Right.
I mean, I think he rewrote the position. Lamar Jackson's clearly good, but I just don't think he has accuracy that Mike did.
Right.
And there's a lot of great football players now. I mean, that is a fact.
That's a fact.
But Mike really did do the groundwork for those guys.
Definitely. So your guys' company, NIL, Image and Likeness.
Yeah, Commonwealth NIL.
Commonwealth NIL. Can you kind of take us through the process of when you guys have a prospect, an athlete, how you guys approach them? What are some of the services that you guys offer?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So, I mean, the process is really sometimes I initially will meet with the athlete.
Okay.
And usually, these guys are young, so it's not like 5 o'clock drinks. It's not like my, life insurance gig, but it's, usually a breakfast or a lunch. And, get them, know them, tell them about Commonwealth NIL. And then many times I meet with their parents by Zoom.
Gotcha.
And, I feel really good because all the parents I've met, we've ended up having athletes come on with Commonwealth NIL. And I mean, that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we offer all kinds of services. We search deals for folks. We also we have some resources that where we usually give folks what we call, give them some money to start promoting Commonwealth NIL, Commonwealth NIL, and the Hokie Way, which is a new nonprofit NIL company we're helping, along with others. Other people are helping them too, not just us. I don't want to take full credit for that. Full disclosure. They're big boys. They can dig it themselves. But and then like we've done stuff like we just MJ Collins is a freshman basketball player from South Carolina. Had a great opportunity to meet with his family via Zoom. I've met obviously know MJ some. And we found out we got a brand coach, and we found out through our questionnaire that his dad's an over-the-road truck driver, and MJ is proud of that. He's happy for that.
Yes.
And so this week, last week, well, it's Saturday, so this week was Truck Driver Appreciation Week. So we suggested to MJ to write an editorial talking about what truck drivers, what time they got to go through, and what it was like to be a son of a truck driver, and did he miss your basketball game? So yeah, we did that and got that placed in the Richmond Times-Dispatch. So MJ was in there. We got Channel 7 that came and did an interview on him, with him about, Virginia Tech basketball, his pursuits, and what it was like to have a dad who, sometimes missed. And, of course, MJ's very proud of his dad. He'd work real hard all day and he'd come watch me play. Right. And, it's really cool. We've done a lot of stuff like that, just opportunities for our athletes. We haven't met an athlete yet that is not kind, respectful, hardworking. I mean, I when you see an athlete get in trouble and you check the message boards out, the fans are all over them, and I just don't think they understand what these men and women are going through.
All the pressure.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and they're up at, like, the basketball team starts practice usually, or workouts. They're not practicing yet, but workouts at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
That's early.
You're up at 5 then.
Yeah, you up at 5.
Yeah.
And then you're going to class.
Yeah, you got to.
And then you're shooting later on.
Yeah.
And these guys got a full day. Football team the same way. I mean, if you ever get a chance to go over to Virginia Tech to ride around, the softball team's practicing all the time.
Right.
You don't become second in the nation, super regional, without putting in the work.
True.
Right.
And these men and women over at Virginia Tech, I think it's a testament to our coaches who are recruiting people of high caliber. Personalities and character. Right. But these guys, they've just been great, man. They've just been great, easy to work with. Nobody's come to me and said, yeah, man, where's my bag? That just hasn't never been part of the conversation. Right. Now, we tell them what we can offer, and they've always been, okay, man, well, let's try to do something.
That's awesome.
It's just been great.
Yeah.
And so we've got multiple ways you can help. Like if you own a small business and you want a Virginia Tech athlete to help promote it, Commonwealth NIL provides that services. Again, we have a brand coach. We can help you. We can help you grow your brand. We can help place the right athlete with you. Somebody, and in today's World Wide Web, sounds really old. You can be a business in Greensboro, say,
right?
And in Virginia Tech has some athlete that's probably from Greensboro, that we could help promote your business. So it doesn't have to just be a barbecue place here in Montgomery County,
right? That
can help. And then also we help them with whether it be logos. We got some cool T-shirts on our website.
I did see that on the website.
Yeah.
And me and Antonio were talking about that, and we wanted to, help out and purchase some. And
we got some cool ones coming for the basketball team.
Okay.
And at the start of their season, man.
That's awesome.
We're gonna do some cool stuff.
That's awesome.
And then we got membership. So if I can go over that real quick.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I was going to ask you if there were opportunities for people like ourselves that we're trying to brand out. We're trying to do things. We want to support local businesses and things like that. Are there investment opportunities? Are there opportunities for people that are not athletes to be involved with NIL?
So whether you're a small business or an individual, podcast, I mean, these athletes have great reach. And so, we would, there's ways that we need to discuss. offline and figure out how we can help promote you with that and put you with the right athlete. Right. And these guys, they want to get their story out, whether it's MJ and his dad being a truck driver, Justin Mutz, who's coming back for his 6th year.
Wow.
And, we arranged a lot of interviews for Justin on sports talk shows. And, he had a great summer, man. I mean, he went and visited a lot of NBA teams. He had a really good summer. Real good chance he gets drafted next year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he put the work in, and he's worked out really, really hard. And so, and our membership opportunities is $25 a month, $50 a month, and $100 a month.
Okay.
And you can go on the website CommonwealthNIL.com. That's CommonwealthNIL.com, and you can check out what you get with each of those. Like, we have a raffle. Darius Maddox sent a signed picture. Every quarter we send out stuff, and last quarter Darius Maddox signed, and you guys remember Darius?
Yep.
Hit that big shot at Miami, and then of course the biggest one was against Clemson.
Yeah.
It was set them on that 4 days in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That really just that was an explosion for
it was an amazing run.
Basketball. I mean, that was an amazing run, man.
Yeah.
Having been a kid here, like you said, growing up here,
right.
I can remember. I mean, my mom would let me stay home from school in March, where I could watch the start of the ACC tournament and the Metro tournament.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, she was. My mom's cool.
Yeah.
And my dad's cool too, but not as cool as my mom. But back then we had the Metro. Man.
Yeah.
See, Virginia and Virginia Tech were in different conferences.
Okay.
So, like my senior year, '86 was Dale Curry's senior year. And so, I mean, I was there when we played Louisville. I was there when we beat Memphis State, which is now Memphis, when they were ranked #1. And I mean, people forget how good Dale Curry was.
Yeah, I know,
Yes,
right?
he was. Yes.
Yeah, that guy was good.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a three-point line.
Right.
I mean, no three-point line. Can you imagine what he done with the three-point line?
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember dropping off my girlfriend and listening to a game they were playing. I think they were playing in Hawaii, in Virginia Tech. I think it was Michigan. It may have been somebody else, but they was somebody good. And they ended up losing by like 1 or 2 points at the end. And I thought, man, if we'd had a 3-point line,
Can you imagine?
we'd beat that guy by 15.
Yeah.
You could have had a 4-point line. Dale Curry have made him.
Yeah.
He's still making them.
Still
shooting
making
them, man.
Still shooting
He
them.
can play tomorrow.
Yep. He played tomorrow. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that team was really, really good.
Yeah.
You had Keith Colbert, not Bimbo Coles, but Al Young and Perry Young. And there was a big, tall, white guy. He was from North Carolina. I can't remember his name now.
Remember Antonio?
Yeah, he was real good.
Yeah.
Bobby Beecher.
All right.
Bobby Beecher.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a real good basketball team.
Yeah.
And then UVA at the time was great. And can you imagine what the ACC? I mean, you had Michael Jordan, James Worthy, and
Yeah.
Sam
Imagine?
Perkins on the same team.
Yeah, I know, right? Hall
Mark
of Famers.
Price and Sally down at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Sampson and Wilson
At Virginia.
at Virginia. I mean, and they didn't even win it. NC State did that one year.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's crazy, man.
Crazy. Yeah.
That was some ball. Lynn Bias at Maryland.
At which we never
forgot
got to
about-
see Len Bias's full development. I mean,
Nah.
sadly,
Yeah.
rest in peace.
Athletic freak.
There were a lot of talks that the competition between him and Michael Jordan would have been leaps and bounds on his side if we would have got to see him develop
As a
into the
player.
player that he was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm a big MJ as the GOAT
Right.
Thank you.
guy. I mean,
Appreciate
and maybe because of my age bias, but I mean, Antonio is clearly younger than me. But
I always say this: how do people feel when you get on YouTube and you type in Michael Jordan highlight reel?
yeah,
If you've never shot a basketball in your entire life, you'll want to after you watch that.
you get it, man.
Yeah,
you get it.
You do. I mean, it makes your hair stand up.
I mean, long, lean, quick,
Poetry.
athletic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
The mentality.
the mentality.
Try to be great at everything.
he
you
was
do.
a dog.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
probably to the detriment of his personal
Yeah.
life.
Yes.
That's,
I mean, I don't know Michael Jordan, but I mean, you can tell, he had a divorce. He's, teammates maybe didn't like him, but he was there for one thing, and that was to win.
Right. Yeah.
And with, if Tom Brady or Michael Jordan holler at you, I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, I know, right? Like,
Yeah, you know,
they're carrying you.
they're
Yeah,
carrying- Steve
Tom
Kerr.
Brady hollers
yeah.
at me tomorrow. I'll be like, all
right.
that's cool, man.
Steve Kerr said he had.
sorry I got in your way, sir.
I'll do better next time. Yeah. I remember that story about Steve saying he had to follow Jordan into the tunnel going to the locker room, and I think he punched him. You know, just because they said, Jordan would bring that out of you. You know, you're either going to sink or swim with him. You know, and I
they
think
did a lot of swimming.
They did a lot of swimming. A lot of swimming.
Man.
Yeah. And so, with your guys' company,
Yeah.
what are some of your goals other than providing excellent services to this community, to the athletes? Now, like you said, the regulations have changed. Athletes are, they are in a position where they can get different types of sponsorship, and they're not going to get in trouble. As far as like you said, signing things, merchandise, podcast, all those things, merch. What's your goal?
Well, our mission statement is turning our athletes into stars and stars into our athletes.
Wow.
And so we want to provide services where our athletes are able to maximize their potential on social media, regular media, earned and unearned.
Right.
And then we want to provide those guys as opportunity. We want to present our athletes as well-rounded humans, which they are, well-rounded people.
Right.
They're not just basketball players or football players. They've got dads, they've got moms, they're truck drivers, they're website developers, they're all these things.
Yes.
And so we want to present that, and then we want to have resources that make NIL attractive for athletes that want to attend Virginia Tech.
That's awesome.
First off, you got to want to attend Virginia Tech.
Right.
Virginia Tech doesn't use NIL in recruitment, but if we have a robust program that folks know about, it's not going to hurt.
Yes. And I think that the times are changing.
Yeah.
And I think that if athletes know that they have a type of program, that they have you guys as resources.
Yeah.
It's
going to factor in.
It's going to factor in.
Now, we've never spoken to a high school athlete. I mean,
Right.
we don't plan on doing that. And we've never been asked to.
Right.
But, I think, again, you have a robust program. You're able to look around the country and compare it to other robust programs. We're seeing what, Virginia Tech athletics community is seeing what they're doing at other places.
Right.
And you've got to be able to talk about the same things.
Right. And like I see a lot of athletes who are maybe managing some of their own social media.
Yeah.
A kid that I coached at Vance High School a few years ago, shout out to Miles Dorn. He just got released, I think, from the Vikings. And I know he'll get picked up by another team.
What does he play?
Miles is
Safety.
safety.
All right, I know I've heard of
Yeah,
it.
He went to North Carolina.
Went to North Carolina. And I'll tell you something about this young man. I watched this young man come out as a sophomore or junior in high school. Mm-hmm. Had only been a basketball player up until that point.
Yeah.
And become the number one receiver in the state in a few years. Then make it to a D1 roster and play. Starts. Then go up to that top 1% that makes it up to the next level after that and play in the NFL. I mean, not only that, his entire family, his dad played in the NFL. His brother is playing at NC State. The youngest brother is phenomenal. He can play anything.
Yeah.
The mom ran track. His mom ran track in college. I mean, so it's all through the family. And you see, he developed his logo and his brand that he sponsors on, his social media and things like that. But now you have experts.
Yeah.
You have people that have
built brands before.
Mm-hmm. You have law firms. You have a lot of things in place.
We're partnered with Gentry Locke, second largest law firm in the state of Virginia. I think they're the best.
Okay.
And we've got great legal counsel there. We know we're going to do things that are compliant, and our contracts are going to be solid, fair.
Yes, sir.
We don't sneak anything in them. We make sure that they're all fair for both sides. Right. My big thing is I always tell people, a rising tide lifts all boats. Right. So if you're doing things right, everybody's going to be successful.
Right.
And if people had that mentality more, somebody else's success doesn't take away from your opportunity.
Yeah.
God did not limit.
It does not. It does
God did not limit success in this world.
No.
And so just, because you guys are having a successful podcast, I shouldn't sit in my basement and go, man, I wish I had a podcast.
Right.
What I should do is call and say, hey, man, can I come on your podcast? Because it's fun.
Sure can. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sitting here thinking while you were mentioning that, me and Tonio would like to be sponsored athletes. I'm thinking me and him could run a 2-on-2 team at the rec.
That'd be cool.
And we get sponsored by you guys.
I'm assuming you got 4 years eligibility.
We both do. We both do. And we'll play everybody 2-on-2 teams if you want the smoke, right?
Are you talking about basketball?
Basketball, Commonwealth NIL. That's who we're sponsored by.
Me
we're
and Max
partnered
will
with
take
them.
you both there.
Max already got the business from me.
I already heard.
You already heard.
I watched the show. I watched the episode, man. I wasn't joking about the first date. I heard you talk about Max.
Yeah, I love. Shout out to Max.
That's my boy, man. I love Max.
I don't have kids of my own, but Max.
Unfortunately, I do.
You're right. Max and Mackenzie. Me watching them grow. I seen a picture Tonio posted of Max before his first football game the other night.
Yeah, I saw
and
it.
I almost brought tears to my eyes because
my
I'm
mom
like,
and dad were there.
I mean, me and him are like brothers.
Yeah.
So to see his son growing so fast, becoming a young man, I mean, it's amazing.
Well, so we didn't come to Max's game because my grandson, I took him to his baseball practice, which is fun.
Yeah.
And then my granddaughter she was cheering for Auburn.
All right.
And I mean, I'm gonna tell you, man, that Auburn cheer squad legit. They've been practicing for a week.
Right.
Had multiple stunts in their routine.
Wow,
Lord.
that's awesome.
And they were like 8 and 9.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They learned
it was
so
crazy.
young.
Yeah. So my daughter-in-law was like, man, this coach is hard. They practiced for 3 hours the other day.
Them kids are thirsty.
I was like, all right. That's a cheerleading practice for 3 hours. That's legit,
That's
man.
legit. That's a lot of tumbling.
Showed on the field. Showed on the field.
Right.
I was so impressed.
Yes.
I was like, all right, that was good, man. That was real.
He said showed on the field.
Yeah, showed it up, man.
Yeah.
They showed up.
Yeah. They're like, we only hit 1,000 backflips this week. So we might
Halftime
as
show. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that the Auburn football team didn't do as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this sounds really silly, but they were playing Eastmont.
Yeah.
Eastmont was good, man.
Yeah.
They had some kids that could fly.
Right.
They had some kids that could fly.
Yeah.
And, Eastmont's not known for football. Now, neither is Auburn.
Right.
Right now, I think they both have been good periodically over the years. And I can't believe what's going to happen in the Blacksburg football right now.
Yeah, I know, right?
Where I think with Cole Beck and those guys, and Cole Beck's a Commonwealth NIL athlete.
Okay.
He, I think they won a state championship, 6 years ago, maybe? I mean, it wasn't that long ago.
Okay.
And, and then Christiansburg is kind of flipped, and Christiansburg's doing really well now.
They're doing really well.
They got
We had a
football.
period.
Yeah.
We had a
Program.
period. Yeah.
Well, I used to always say Christiansburg was a generational teams.
Right.
So, like, my senior year, we were 1-9.
Gotcha.
And my brothers played on the team that made the state semifinals.
See?
And that was the once a generation. Darren Graham, Jeff Stanley.
I know.
all
Yeah,
those
Jeff
dudes.
Stanley. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
The team was stacked.
That team was stacked, man.
Stacked.
And the running backs. I mean, and then my brother played outside linebacker, and if you know my brother, he was pretty good at it. I think he got the Hammer Award on the team of Hammer.
Hey, he's out there laying folks down.
Yeah. And then, but a couple years before me, you had Mark Franklin in that group.
Mark Franklin,
Mark
yep.
Franklin was probably the best football player to ever play at Christiansburg High School.
Wow.
You
what they
can
say.
get Brendan Motley. I mean, there's a lot of good football players.
Right.
Who was the kid that went to Hampton? He was real good. Running back.
I don't know.
I can't. Yeah,
I'm trying to
he was good. I mean, I remember watching him going, "All right, yeah, he can play somewhere."
Right.
But Mark Franklin was good, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my
Shout out
He went to North Carolina State, didn't
North
he?
Carolina State.
Yeah.
Started 3 or 4 years down there at middle linebacker.
Shout out to Mark Franklin. Yeah.
Shout out to Mark Franklin. His mom was I always used to see her when I was out campaigning.
Yeah.
She was so nice
Yeah.
to me. His sister, I believe it's his sister, Penny Franklin's on the school board.
Right.
So they're and her and his mom was just great, man.
Yeah.
She was just great.
Speaking of Penny, her son E.G. McDaniel.
Yeah, he
Yep.
wrestler.
E.G.
U.S. Army vet.
Yes, he is a good friend of mine.
Oh, cool.
He, as a heavyweight wrestler, E.G. moved like a 103 pounder wrestling heavyweight. He was
Well, he was the reason
So
Christiansburg
technical.
won its first
and
first wrestling title.
first time. I remember when EG
It came down to the last match, and he won.
Yeah.
And that's balling, man.
I have the tape
That is
at home.
Nice.
I think
I'd
that
like
was-
to see that.
Yeah, I think it's I have the VHS AA wrestling state tournament. That was 99, I believe.
Yeah, down Salem.
Yep. I have the VHS at home, so I'll get EG. He came back and he would coach. I wrestled at Christiansburg.
My son did.
Wow. Yeah. And I remember EG being in the room. We'd have a 4-man group. Not to get off topic, but I mean, he would wax us all day. I mean,
He was a monster.
He was a monster. You couldn't do anything with him. And
He was a monster.
I remember when EG had to go up against Albert Childress from Grundy. And if anybody knows wrestling, back in the day, I wrestled Albert Childress. He choked me out. Right?
Yeah.
If anybody,
Which was illegal. But
yeah.
You just acted like you were
I
out
was like,
there.
"That's all right, it's fine,"
You couldn't tap out, so you just like passed out.
Yeah, I remember Coach Dresser. Shout out to Coach Dresser. He told me, he said, just do the best you can do. They already knew. I mean, this kid, he was a man child as a freshman. I think he's a state trooper now. Shout out to Albert, by the way.
Yeah.
But I remember
all state troopers, man.
Yeah.
These guys got a heck of a job.
Heck of a job. I remember EG going up against him, and the talks of it and stuff like that. And just amazing. History. I have to talk to EG because I don't want to say the wrong thing about how that ended. But I think it was maybe an escape point. I think it was close.
That's how I remember.
That's how I remember.
I think that one point.
Yeah,
was,
1 point. Yeah,
I think it was an escape with seconds left. Now, I may be remembering it much more dramatic than it was.
Right. Yeah, but EG, if you're watching, I'm a fact check it with you, so I'm not going to say anything right now. But definitely a highlight, and after that, I was there with Jackie Toney, BJ Compton, Preston Hall.
All those dudes.
All those.
Who's the guy
Who's
he's in
on
real
run?
estate now? He won 4.
What's
Matt
his name?
Epperly?
Matt Epperly.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Matt Epperly, Nick Buck, David Clark. I know guys. I'm sorry, I'm missing a few of you guys, but Brian West,
The kid who went to Ohio
Stuart
State.
Valley. Rest in peace, Cody
Yes,
Gardner.
Cody Gardner.
Cody Gardner was the best wrestler I've ever seen.
Yeah, he was a monster too.
ever.
I think he was ranked number 1 in the country.
Yeah, ever.
He came from
won-
New Jersey too.
Yeah. He won. I watched him win the state finals in Salem. It was like a practice to him. He was not enthused. He was like, yeah, cool.
No, and and athletics has a lot of mental health and distress and stuff. And folks need to, we're talking to athletes now. We got to keep an eye on your friends. You
do.
And if you got, call their mom or dad or call the coach. They're going to try to seek help.
Yes, definitely do that.
Don't worry about the next match or game, man. Let's get the help first, and all that stuff will work itself out. We had that girl commit suicide up at JMU in softball last year.
Oh yeah.
And
There's been a lot of softball players have been committing suicide. I
so
feel that.
you've got to, look out for your friends. Not to bring it down, man. Cause
No.
Like, I think Christiansburg won 19 in a row.
Yeah, we
It was
were
close.
we were
20.
there. We were
I think
15 and 19, I think, but and then
I think it's the most any program has ever won in a row.
consecutively. Yes.
The HSL
Yes.
record.
Yes. So that I will always like I always tell people, I played football to play it. I wrestled because I loved it.
Yeah.
That's the one sport that I really loved, and you knew every day was going to be. I mean, you
It's
have
a
the best and the best in the
grind,
state of
dude.
Virginia
Yeah.
in one room
Yeah.
every day.
See, I always advocated for opening up enrollment at Eastmont
Okay.
because it's a small school and it's got a bigger capacity. I was on the board of supervisors when we built Eastmont High School.
Yeah.
And it has a bigger capacity than the number of students there.
Yeah.
I just wanted to win another wrestling title.
Right.
I just wanted Christiansburg B team to go there.
Right. And like I said, our B
And
team,
then we could pick another title up, man.
yeah, our B team could travel. We'd wax.
Oh, yeah. My son was always on the B team.
Yeah.
He never got to wrestle but he was always in the room working.
Right.
It made him a better Army officer. He gets scores of 300 on his PT test, which is the max. Which
Shout out to him.
Just can do pull-ups, push-ups, run like a deer.
Yeah.
And I think it's all from that wrestling room.
Definitely.
And genetics, clearly.
Right, definitely. Right, look at you.
I mean, just I'll swole up. and
All
stuff.
swole of everything. Yeah. Weston, we looking good on time? Okay. So I had something in my head and I filed it because when we were talking, I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
What would your advice be to any young men or women out here that want to get involved in politics, that want to help their community, that want to make a change, that want to have a direct influence in some of the development, school systems all of these things that you are part of.
Yeah. Well, so one, know who you are as a person.
Okay.
You know, you want to be confident and secure in your beliefs that you can express those to other people.
Okay.
And you know, I went about it again non-traditional, man. I'd never been to a Republican Party meeting when I ran.
Right.
I mean, nobody knew me.
Right.
Nobody knew me. I found out the rules. I got the most people there. I had the most votes.
That's all you need to know.
That's all I
Give
need
me
to
the
know.
rules.
Right?
I got the people there.
We'll get sandwiches later.
And then I went to the meetings and got to know everybody and found out it was a great group of people.
Yeah.
So know the rules, get you a strategy, and do it for the right reasons.
Do it for the right reasons.
I mean, if you're trying to increase your Facebook account, if you're
Right.
Instagram, and you know, I just would do it for the right reasons.
The truth's going to show.
It's going to
Because
show, man.
they don't know the amount of work that comes in with that's involved. This ain't a fly by night.
Dude, that's the best point. I've had people over the years say, "Hey, man, I'm gonna run for this." All right, dude, I'll do anything to help you.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, you got to work.
Right.
You know, come September, they're like, oh, "Man, I got to work, man. I mean, I can't get off. I got." Well, yeah, you can. Yeah. I mean, you can go at 7 o'clock instead of 6. I mean, I'm cool. I can still go.
Right. Do you?
I see you Saturday mornings.
You're right.
Oh man, I got to mow my yard. Well, that ain't getting you no votes.
Yeah. Not let
Everybody mows the yard, man.
You got to go mow everybody else's yard too.
Yeah, everybody mows the yard, dude. That ain't nothing special.
Yeah.
And so I saw that over the years. So if you're not willing to put in the work,
Yeah.
then you're not going to win. Now you can run, but you're not going to win.
Yeah.
And you got to work, and that work means meeting with people, explaining your views, being willing to answer questions, and being willing to take no. I mean, you're gonna get rejected, bro. They're gonna say, "Ah, man, you ain't my man."
Yeah.
Right.
And I've had it, a million times. You know, hopefully 1,000,001 have voted for me. I mean, I know
Right.
I got more, but
Right.
and you just got to put the work in. And I'm gonna stress it, man. Do it for the right reasons.
Right.
Look into your soul, pray about it, and put the community first.
Right.
Put the community first, man. If you set those goals out, you'll be successful, even if you don't win.
Right.
I mean, I've known a lot of successful politicians that have never won an election, and they're just good people. They care about the community. They're out working, whether it's going to school board meetings, whether they're volunteering and other organizations, nonprofits, or whether they're just running a successful business and being mentors for the community.
Right.
And I was a FedEx driver. My first 10 years as an elected official, I drove a truck every day and delivered packages. Wore shorts maybe 10 months out of the year.
Yeah, I was going to say, yep.
I mean, it was fun.
Right. Yeah.
It was not a bad gig.
Right. Right.
And so you don't have to be the attorney. My mom wasn't the Republican Party chair. My dad wasn't the district attorney or anything. My dad's a welder. My mom's a school teacher. I was a FedEx driver.
Right.
If you put the work in, do it for the right reasons, communicate with people, connect with people, talk about things they care about.
Yeah.
And hopefully you care about.
Yeah. Right.
You can be successful.
Be successful.
Yeah.
That's
and again,
awesome.
it don't matter about winning. I mean, you can still be successful in helping your community without ever winning an election.
Right. Yeah. And there's things that me and Antonio talk about, that obviously we're still under 10 episodes and we're making our way. And we just want to continue to be consistent. Yeah. But I know some of those things are on the horizon for us. We want to be involved in the community.
Yeah.
I'd like to do it where we have a backpack drive.
Dude, that's cool stuff.
We want to start small, but we want to let people know that when they see our platform, when they see what we've been able to do with the people here, with Weston, with Tonio, I want people to believe in that themselves.
Well, our charity, man, we raise.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the number, but we help 2, 3 women a year.
Wow,
that's impactful, man.
It is.
It's not the United Way,
right?
But I mean, it's impactful for those lives.
Yeah,
It
you're
is.
making a difference.
It is making a difference.
And we love doing it, man. It's kind of cool. I get to holler at people at the Boozer Boot Camp, and
Right. Yeah.
I
Pick it up. Yeah.
sit and watch people run 5Ks. That's all great.
Right. Yeah. Hey, pick it up. You ain't gonna make the time. Yeah.
Fall behind.
Yeah. I remember I did the Gaffney, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we're out in Arizona, and I did it out there while I was at Fort Huachuca, and they had the van behind me. And we had to make that ruck march, 6 miles out, 6 miles back. I think the Gaffney's a 12 mile, I believe.
Yeah,
I believe. The van was behind me. They had a loudspeaker, Tonio. They were, hurry up. Hurry up. You ain't going to
Were
make
you
it.
in military intelligence?
I was.
I was too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was a 35 Mike.
I was 96 Bravo.
Okay. Wow. Small world.
So we and a 98J, and we but in the 82nd, the requirement we did 1 12-mile ruck march a month.
A month?
Yeah.
Holy.
As a battalion.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we were always training with rucks.
If anybody has never done a 12-mile ruck,
it's hard on your feet, man.
it is hard. I tell people all the time, to make the time, it ain't a walk. It is a jog.
Yeah,
you are literally combination, of walking, jogging to make the time requirement. And this is what a 35-pound pack?
Yeah, we usually do 35,
40-pound packs with a weapon.
And I think the requirements now are 45 in the
45?
I think mine were 35. I mean, it was
okay.
It was a long time ago.
Right. It's rough. And I remember barely.
Well, you're carrying a weapon.
Carrying a weapon, so your arms aren't free. 7.5-pound weapon, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember getting to the finish line, and my eyes started dimming a little bit. I said, I might go out.
Yeah,
I really thought I might go out. And I remember just sitting there, and I was like, well, that's one event down. We got a bunch more to do. And sometimes I look back on it, and I'm like, man, that time period was rough, but I miss it.
I tell you, man. Yeah, so people have been asking me, man, do you miss politics? Yeah. I was always saying, not a second. That's kind of a little exaggeration.
Right.
What I miss about sports, the Army, politics is the camaraderie you have with people. Yes. My favorite time in Richmond, we have a thing called a caucus. So all the Republicans would meet in one room, all the Democrats would meet in the other room. And, not because we were all talking strategy, right?
Yeah, right.
Man, I sit back there with my buddies and we goof off and crack on people. And I'm sure the Democrats are doing the same thing. People are doing it to me in caucus. Yeah. I miss that part.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're down in there, you're as a team.
Right.
I mean, it's really like that was the cool part of politics is you really were a part of a team that was trying to advance an agenda. Now, a lot of people were against our agenda. A lot of people were against Democrats' agenda. That's not my point. My point really is you're sitting there and you are human, so you are goofing off like, oh, sit down, man. You said that yesterday. Just cracking on people, man.
Yeah, we heard that before. Yeah.
I had a buddy out of the blue call me Thursday. He was in the House of Delegates. He got beat a couple years ago before I retired. And he called me. He's like, man, you remember that time I started walking and I couldn't remember what I was going to say? So this dude walks all the way up to the podium and turns around and then like, well, yeah, and what everybody else said, and came back and sat down. And I was like, I looked at him and I said, what the hell was that? He's like, I forgot what I was going to say.
What he said, what she said. That's hilarious.
I was hilarious, man.
Yeah.
And he's a good dude. He was a nice guy, but
Yeah.
I mean, he called. He's like, man, I just remembered that. And you looked at me and was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, I've been crying.
I had a buddy of mine. He sat beside me. His name was Gordon Hessel. He's actually the mayor of Pocosa now, but he was a Vietnam vet.
Okay.
And a Purple Heart. He wrote a book about his time in Vietnam, and he was in one firefight where it lasted like 21 hours. And I mean, he was like used a couple of dead comrades as shields during this firefight. It was just a really, really, really good story.
Yeah.
But he's such a nice guy, man. I mean, me and him sit there. It's like we were in the locker room.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally like we were in the locker room, man.
Yeah.
And he would mostly just laugh at stupid stuff I'd say.
Right, yeah.
He'd be like, man,
look at this guy right
just
here.
Shut up, dude.
Yeah. Everybody's supposed to be all there, discussing law and everything.
Well, and so you are like that in
in
the house during the procedures.
Okay.
But beforehand, you're figuring stuff out, man.
Yeah.
You got to figure out, and you're gonna have disagreements in there. Now you come out, you're a team. Like you putting together an offensive game plan. The wide receivers are going to say, I need the ball. Running back going to be like, man, we should be running it.
Right.
And, it's no different like that in caucus.
Right.
And people are just, I don't know how it is now. Hopefully it's the same because that was a part of the job I enjoyed the most.
Awesome.
Just hanging out with my buddies.
That's awesome. So I know we got to wrap it pretty soon, but I wanted to make a point for people to contact your company with life insurance and things like that, because I've been noticing that a lot of people don't have those things in place.
Yeah. I started my insurance career at Virginia Farm Bureau, which is a great company. They offer property and casualty and life. And, we used to sit around and go, we should people are more concerned about this and they're not concerned about the life insurance.
Right.
And if something happens to you and you have kids or wife or spouse, their world's changing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And life insurance can make sure that doesn't happen financially. Still going to try. It's going to happen emotionally,
right?
But it doesn't have to happen financially.
Right.
And it's very affordable.
Right.
I work for a company out of California.
All right.
So I'm one of 2 East Coast agents that we work with. But I would encourage everybody. You got a life insurance agent, and it's fairly, depends on your age and all that. Life insurance is based on your age and your health.
Right.
And so you just, contact somebody because it's important, man. And Virginia Farm Bureau has got a great life insurance product. I know there's some independent agents, New York Life agents are good. There's some folks around here that can get it
I think I'll plug Miss Deborah Travis as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And does the company offer like a whole life or the universal?
Yeah, so we could do a whole thing on that. So
okay.
you got a permanent policy, which is whole life, universal life, indexed life, variable life, and then you have term. And terms can do different things. And term is just what it is. Whether it be 5-year term, 10-year term, 15, 20, all the way up to 30 years.
Right.
And so, if you're young and let's say you're a working person at Corning, and you may be saving for your kids' college education, or just bought a house, or saving for a down payment. Yeah. You may want to go term because you want to protect that life while those kids are young.
Gotcha.
So you had an accident at work or on the way to work or something. That obviously emotional, but not financial.
Right.
And then so maybe once you get a little older or you get more financial resources, you want to start looking at. I usually recommend indexed universal life, but a lot of agents may have a different opinion.
Okay.
And so those are tied to the stock market and grow, but they have a ceiling. So I'll just make up a number. They may have a 10% cap on the most you can ever make in a particular year, but you won't have a floor, so you don't lose. So they say the stock market's down 30%, you just stay at 0.
All right.
Stock market goes up 20%, you get 10.
You gain. We're not going negative 15.
Yeah, you're not going negative.
Right. You're right. Yeah. And I say that, Nick, because a lot of people, and me and Antonio talk about this, I encourage all my friends, my brothers, everybody who was younger, because I wasn't told this, in their prime, in their 20s, best shape they're ever probably going to be in, with children, go ahead and try to get the maximum amount that you can.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of people use these life insurance policies as generational wealth.
Yeah,
and they are
they're
continuously putting that into their families. And I don't think, we talk about it enough as that being a resource.
Well, and that's what we got. You need to be living for your next generation.
Right.
And we've kind of gotten away from that.
Right.
Lord knows I do it too. I spend more money than I probably should.
Gotcha.
But if you start planning that stuff out early, and going through a divorce, I went through a divorce at, I think I was 28, 29, something like that. That'll stop your economic growth for a while.
Right.
I was blessed by Farm Bureau. The manager, he got promoted to manager. I saw him. He was in Pulaski area.
Yeah.
And he had seen me on my route. We had known each other, and he'd seen me on my route. Yeah. And I used to always get free food because you're wearing shorts, you're delivering paychecks. You go up to the counter.
Yeah.
You smile the right way, they'll be like, "All right, Nick, you ain't got to pay."
Right.
And
can I get cheese on it?
Yeah. And so he kept going, "How y'all get all this free food?" Yeah. I was like, "Well, I deliver their paychecks, man."
Right. Yeah.
And so I get here early, and I make sure they get their money.
Right.
And so he called me when he got promoted to manager. He's like, "Dude, if you can get elected to board supervisor and get free food, you can sell insurance."
Right.
Yeah. And so
I
was like, all right, I'll try it.
Right.
And I actually took a pay cut to go into that. Because, you can make good money at FedEx. It's a good job.
Okay.
Great benefits. But it in the end.
And the shorts.
And the shorts, dude. You get to wear shorts to work.
Right.
That's great.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, after, I think I left in FedEx in 2002.
Okay.
So 20 years ago. Right. So over the last 20 years, it's worked out for me. But I learned a ton at FedEx too, man.
Right.
When I go to appointments, I always tell people, if I'm more than 5 minutes late, you better call the police because I was in the Army and I work for FedEx. I am not late. I'm probably going to show up exactly on time.
Exactly on time.
Or a couple minutes early.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that people would know how to continue to support, follow up with Commonwealth NIL.
Oh, perfect, man.
And, so making sure that we plug that and get that out to people. And we want to continue to support it. I'm interested in continue to see it grow.
Thank you,
I
man.
would love to get embedded with you guys and maybe get in contact with some of your players.
Yeah, make it a pipeline.
Make it a pipeline. Have them have a platform
Yeah.
that they can come and tell their story on and speak about it. And, and that helps us get to know people in the community as well.
And it helps them.
Yes.
It gets them, again, not about, Darius Maddox making a shot. He's a much bigger person. It's
more than that.
Yeah, he's a wonderful person.
Right.
So and so guys, for the Steak and Sauce audience, go like their Instagram, their Facebook, and their Twitter. And please like Commonwealth NIL.
Yes,
CommonwealthNIL.com. But also go to Facebook, our Instagram, and our Twitter account and follow, like, what do you do on Instagram? I can't remember.
Follow. You can
follow
like,
on Instagram.
Repost, tag,
Do
all
those
Yep,
things.
yep.
And so there's analytics and algorithms involved. And so if you post, if you comment, hopefully positive, if you do those things, that increases the number of people that get to see it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so we work with some of our athletes for that too. But go see, go check out your favorite athlete, like their stuff, and help them. And please go to Commonwealth NIL and just check us out and like and follow us on these social media platforms.
Yep.
It's a huge way to communicate now. Yeah.
Please do. That's awesome, man. And Nick, we want to have you again, man. I could talk to you for
Dude, I could do this all day, man.
2-3 days.
Told you it was easy.
Yeah.
This is great, man. This is so much. This has been fun.
It's fun, man. And I know Tonio. I'm looking over at him, and I have so many questions that I filed that I didn't get a chance to get to. So we have to have you back, man.
That's cool.
We want to continue to talk about the growth of Commonwealth NIL, and I want to come out if we can to the
Bruiser Boot Camp.
Bruiser Boot Camp. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, check that out on Facebook,
Okay.
Instagram, Bruiser Boot Camp.
Bruiser Boot Camp. Okay.
Yeah, it's a great event.
Yes, and
You get free beer.
yeah, you can't lose
One free
right?
beer.
Right.
Yeah, buy those.
yeah. And we're just blessed. We hope we continue. The Lord just continues to keep us motivated and give us the inspiration, give us the creativity to keep doing what we're doing. We want to see this thing well past 100 episodes, and we want to tap into people because we want people to come on here and tell their stories.
Yeah, this has been a great platform.
We want the platform to be a tool to help other people. We've had so many people reach out to us and say, "Hey, I've been wanting to start a podcast," and now they see two guys that they know, and they're like, "Can you help us?
Yeah.
Can you show us how to do this?" And we're like, "Of course," So we want to continue to do that. I forgot to mention it earlier, but when you watch this on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for us.
Subscribe and like.
Hit
man.
like. You'll get the notifications. Hit
Get
that
the
bell.
notifications.
Please do.
I learned that on my my reaction videos. They all say that.
They
man.
say that. Yes. Please do that first. We appreciate everyone's support.
Yes, we do.
We are so thankful and so blessed to be able to do this. And like we said, we do this because we love it. We do this because me and Antonio have talked about every type of business we could possibly do.
Yeah.
We wanted to buy the old Wade's building.
That's still my goal.
It's still the goal, and we're gonna have the best nightclub ever. And we want to,
Hey man,
I'm sorry. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and get this. We'll meet with your legal team. We'll get this wrapped up. But we have so many dreams, and we're living one right now.
Yeah.
And
I'm not trying to interrupt you, but it shows. It shows on the podcast.
Right.
I mean, you guys have got great personality. You got great hearts. It seems to me Christian values.
Right.
And I just was totally impressed with all of them. And,
Thank you.
And I hope this gets to 100 episodes. And,
Yes, sir.
And $5 million a year.
And
it starts with everybody liking this podcast.
Yes, sir.
Steak and Sauce
Follow.
family. Yes.
Steak
Like
and
it.
Sauce.
Yes.
Appreciate
This
it.
is a national brand, man.
It is. It's coming.
You're here in the infancy.
Right. Yeah. We got more things coming. My great granddad, rest in peace, he told my mom, he said, Derek and his group, they're going to be a household name one day.
Oh, I love it.
And that's what we're trying to do. And we're not just for that aspect of it, but because my sister told me, Antonio, she said, you guys have talked about things for too long.
Mm-hmm.
No more talking.
Do it.
Do it. That it really inspired us. And of course, without Weston, right?
Weston's great, man.
He's a monster. I'm telling you, go ahead and check out his amazing work at carmack.media on IG. I think Weston is even open to people within his scope of contacting him to do some work as well, right, Weston? So we definitely want to help him out as well. Big shout out to Scott Bunn again at Remax 8 Division for all your home needs. You want to buy a home, sell a home, rent your home out, have some type of support. Also support his channel at Finding Your Place with Scott Bunn on YouTube. This has been Steak and Sauce Podcast Episode 9. We've had Mr. Nick Rush here. We've learned so much. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
And until the next time, y'all be blessed.